Knowledge. Chapter: The superiority of knowledge. Chapter: Whoever is asked about knowledge while he is busy in some conversation, so he answer the questioner after finishing the conversation. Hadith 59. Narrated Abu Huraira. While the Prophet was saying something in a gathering, a Bedouin came and asked him, when would the hour doomsday take place? Allah's Messenger continued his talk. So some people said that Allah's Messenger had heard the question, but did not like what that Bedouin had asked. Some of them said that Allah's Messenger had not heard it. When the Prophet finished his speech, he said, "Where is the questioner who inquired about the hour doomsday?" The Bedouin said, "I am here, O Allah's Apostle." Then the Prophet said, "When honesty is lost, then wait for the hour doomsday." The Bedouin said, "How will that be lost?" The Prophet said, "When the power or authority comes in the hands of unfit persons, then wait for the hour doomsday." Chapter: Whoever raises his voice in conveying knowledge. Hadith 60. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr. Once the Prophet remained behind us in a journey. He joined us while we were performing ablution for the prayer which was overdue. We were just passing wet hands over our feet and not washing them properly, so the Prophet addressed us in a loud voice and said twice or thrice, "Save your heels from the fire." Chapter: Concerning the variety of words used by narrators conveying different significations regarding the concept of narrating, and which has importance for the Hadith scholars only. Hadith 61. Narrated Ibn Omar. Allah's Messenger said, "Amongst the trees, there is a tree, the leaves of which do not fall, and is like a Muslim. Tell me the name of that tree." Everybody started thinking about the trees of the desert areas, and I thought of the date palm tree, but felt shy to answer the others, then asked, "What is that tree, O Allah's Messenger?" He replied, "It is the date palm tree." Chapter: The Imam questioning his companions in order to test their knowledge. Hadith 62. Narrated Ibn Omar. The Prophet said, "Amongst the trees, there is a tree, the leaves of which do not fall, and is like a Muslim. Tell me the name of that tree." Everybody started thinking about the trees of the desert areas, and I thought of the date palm tree. The others then asked, "Please inform us, what is that tree, O Allah's Messenger?" He replied, "It is the date palm tree." Chapter: What is said about knowledge. Hadith 63. Narrated Anas bin Malik. While we were sitting with the Prophet in the mosque, a man came riding on a camel. He made his camel kneel down in the mosque, tied its foreleg, and then said, "Who amongst you is Muhammad?" At that time, the Prophet was sitting amongst us, his companions leaning on his arm. We replied, "This white man reclining on his arm." The man then addressed him, "O son of Abdul Muttalib." The Prophet said, "I am here to answer your questions." The man said to the Prophet, "I want to ask you something and will be hard in questioning, so do not get angry." The Prophet said, "Ask whatever you want." The man said, "I ask you by your Lord, and the Lord of those who were before you, has Allah sent you as an apostle to all the mankind?" The Prophet replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you by Allah, has Allah ordered you to offer 5 prayers in a day and night 24 hours? He replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you, by Allah, has Allah ordered you to observe fasts during this month of the year Ramadan?" He replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you, by Allah, has Allah ordered you to take zakat, obligatory charity, from our rich people and distribute it amongst our poor people?" The Prophet replied, "By Allah, yes." Thereupon that man said, "I have believed in all that with which you have been sent, and I have been sent by my people as a messenger, and I am Daimam bin Thalaba from the brothers of Bani Sa'di bin Bakr." Chapter: What is said regarding the hand-to-hand exchange of books of knowledge and the writing of knowledge by religious scholars to different countries. Hadith 64. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Once Allah's Messenger gave a letter to a person and ordered him to go and deliver it to the governor of Bahrain. He did so, and the governor of Bahrain sent it to Chusros, who read that letter and then tore it to pieces. The sub-narrator Ibn Shihab thinks that Ibn al-Musayyab said that Allah's messenger invoked Allah against them saying, "May Allah tear them into pieces and disperse them all totally." Hadith 65. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once the Prophet wrote a letter, or had an idea of writing a letter. The Prophet was told that the rulers would not read letters unless they were sealed. So the Prophet got a silver ring made with Muhammad Allah's messenger engraved on it, as if I were just observing its white glitter in the hand of the Prophet. Chapter: Whoever sat at the farther end of a gathering, and whoever found a place amongst a gathering, and took his seat there. Hadith 66. Narrated Abu Waqid al-Laythi. While Allah's messenger was sitting in the mosque with some people, 3 men came. 2 of them came in front of Allah's messenger, and the third one went away. The 2 persons kept on standing before Allah's messenger for a while, and then one of them found a place in the circle, and sat there, while the other sat behind the gathering, and the third one went away. When Allah's messenger finished his preaching, he said, "Shall I tell you about these 3 persons?" One of them betook himself to Allah, so Allah took him into his grace and mercy and accommodated him. The second felt shy from Allah, so Allah sheltered him in his mercy and did not punish him, while the third turned his face from Allah and went away, so Allah turned his face from him likewise. Chapter: The statement of the Prophet. It is probable that a person who receives a piece of information indirectly may comprehend it better than he who has heard it directly from its source. Hadith 67. Narrated Abdur Rahman bin Abi Bakr from his father. Once the Prophet was riding his camel, and a man was holding its rein. The Prophet asked, "What is the day today?" We kept quiet, thinking that he might give that day another name. He said, "Isn't it the day of our slaughtering of the animals of sacrifice?" We replied, "Yes." He further asked, "Which month is this?" We again kept quiet, thinking that he might give it another name. Then he said, "Isn't it the month of Dhul Hijjah?" We replied, "Yes." He said, "Verily, your blood, property, and honor are sacred to one another. I Muslims like the sanctity of this day of yours, in this month of yours, and in this city of yours. It is incumbent upon those who are present to inform those who are absent, because those who are absent might comprehend what I have said better than the present audience." Chapter: It is essential to know a thing first before saying or acting upon it. Chapter: The Prophet used to take care of the people in preaching by selecting a suitable time, so that they might not run away. Never made them averse or bored them with religious talk and knowledge all the time. Hadith 68. Narrated Ibn Mas'ud. The Prophet used to take care of us in preaching by selecting a suitable time, so that we might not get bored. He abstained from pestering us with sermons and knowledge all the time. Hadith 69. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, "Facilitate things to people concerning religious matters, and do not make it hard for them, and give them good tidings, and do not make them run away from Islam." Chapter: Whoever fixed a special day for giving a religious talk to the students. Hadith 70. Narrated Abu Wa'il. Abdullah used to give a religious talk to the people on every Thursday. Once a man said, "O Abu Abdurrahman, by Allah, I wish if you could preach us daily." He replied, "The only thing which prevents me from doing so is that I hate to bore you, and no doubt I take care of you in preaching by selecting a suitable time, just as the Prophet used to do with us, for fear of making us bored." Chapter: If Allah Jalla Jalaluhu wants to do good to a person, He makes him comprehend the religion, the understanding of the Quran, and as Sunnah legal ways of the Prophet Muhammad. Hadith 71. Narrated Muawiyah. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, "If Allah wants to do good to a person, He makes him comprehend the religion. I am just a distributor, but the grant is from Allah. And remember that this nation true Muslims will keep on following Allah's teachings strictly, and they will not be harmed by anyone going on a different path, till Allah's order day of judgment is established." Chapter: The superiority of comprehending knowledge. Hadith 72. Narrated Ibn Umar. We were with the Prophet, and fresh dates of a palm tree were brought to him. On that he said, "Amongst the trees, there is a tree which resembles a Muslim." I wanted to say that it was the date palm tree, but as I was the youngest of all of them, I kept quiet. And then the Prophet said, it is the date palm tree. Chapter, wish to be like the one who has knowledge and al-hikmah wisdom, that is, the knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah legal ways of the Prophet. Hadith 73, narrated Abdullah bin Mas'ud, the Prophet said, do not wish to be like anyone, except in two cases. The first is a person whom Allah has given wealth, and he spends it righteously. The second is the one whom Allah has given wisdom, the Holy Quran, and he acts according to it and teaches it to others. Fath al-Bari, page 177, vol. 1.